Jesé Rodriguez's name once sparked instant excitement across the Bernabéu terraces, raw pace, a knack for goals, and a future sketched in bright, unquestioned lines. But in a recent candid interview, he pulled back the curtain on an episode that nearly erased that future in a single heartbeat, a moment of fury on the pitch, a headbutt that triggered a 15-match ban and could easily have been the end of his Real Madrid story. He remembers the game as a pressure cooker, opponents harassing him, the referee letting things slide, insults raining down. Frustration built into an explosive reaction. He confronted the referee, took a booking, and then in a lost minute headbutted an opponent. The consequences were immediate and heavy: disciplinary files, whispers of dismissal, and a sense that the club could and perhaps should cut ties. What saved him, he says, was an intervention from the very top. Florentino Pérez, the powerful president synonymous with Real's global ambition, called for a meeting that lasted an hour. In that room were not just officials, but people with the authority to decide whether a bright talent would be afforded a second chance. Jesé admits he expected the worst. Instead, he left, chastened but still inside the squad, a decision he now sees as decisive for his career's next chapter. That intervention, he explains, was not a free pass, but a serious lecture on what the badge stands for. It was a moment of education as much as mercy. The aftermath did not erase the damage, the long ban, the scrutiny, and the unravelling of steady first-team state. What followed was a peripatetic career that took him across France, England, Portugal, Italy, Turkey, Brazil, and even Malaysia. Moves that transformed him from a homegrown Bernabéu hopeful into a journeyman chasing reinvention. Yet the interview also reveals that even in the turbulence, Jesé carried memories of mentorship and advice that shaped. He recalls Cristiano Ronaldo's blunt, sometimes fierce coaching off the pitch, a senior star who criticised him in private, demanded better decision-making, and then invested time to sharpen his focus. Years later, in another anecdote that underlines football's small world, he remembers a young Kylian Mbappé asking about Real Madrid and dreaming aloud of the Ballon d'Or, a reminder that the club's pull extends far beyond trophies to the dreams of players who see the Bernabéu as destiny. Listening to Jesé now, you hear regret and gratitude braided together. Regret for a split-second loss of control that carried long penalties, and gratitude for the intervention that kept a door ajar when many doors were closing. His story asks uncomfortable questions about talent and temperament, about who gets second chances and why. Was it purely Florentino's affection that spared him, or the fact that on his day Jesé produced goals and moments the club needed? Jesé's own account suggests both ability that demanded protection and a lesson that came at real cost. For fans, this is more than gossip. It's a study in how elite clubs manage their icons and their mistakes, how power and discretion shape careers, and how a single decision in a boardroom can reroute a life on the pitch. Today, Jesé plays elsewhere, and his path has the worn texture of experience, the highs of early promise, the humiliation of public sanctions, and the long arc of rebuilding. He speaks plainly about mistakes and mentorship, about the moments when teammates like Ronaldo pushed him hard and when presidents like Florentino stepped in. Whether you view his story as a cautionary tale or a complicated example of mercy and management, it's undeniable that the headbutt and the meeting that followed are the fulcrum on which much of his later life turned. The full truth is messy. Brilliance marred by impulsiveness, intervention balanced with discipline, and a career that remains a fascinating what-if for Real Madrid's modern history. If there's a final takeaway from Jesé's own words, it's this: talent opens the door, but conduct keeps it open, and sometimes the most consequential matches happen far from the pitch, in quiet rooms where careers are decided and lessons are delivered.